Hello, you're watching James. My name's James. You're watching me, and I am talking about watches. Well, it is time for my full in-depth review of my Berny Railway watch. A watch that I really was looking forward to buying. A watch when I first saw it, I thought, yes, I have to buy that one. And a watch that when I saw it, I thought, bugger. All that stuff I was saying about my super affordable Berny watch kind of now goes out the window. If you haven't seen my full in-depth review of my first super affordable mechanical Berny watch, well, it's very similar to this one, but the dial looks different. And in that review, I talk about it not being a homage watch like this one. I talk about it having some inspiration from some other watches like this one, but it's not a out and out homage. So what did Berny do? Well, they went and made an out and out homage, which I guess that's okay. And I admit when I saw that they had done this, I thought, yes, I want to buy this one. But do I actually like it? Do I like it as much as my original super affordable Berny watch? A watch that I really still enjoy wearing. Does this one match up to it? Is it as good? Just because they've changed the dial, just because they've changed a couple of things, does it actually make it better? Well, that's what I'm hoping to do and show to you in this review. And if you are interested in buying this one, I am going to leave one of those affiliate links down below. And if you do decide to buy it, it's going to cost you 110 Australian dollars, which still is on the super affordable sort of price range. It's more expensive than my original super affordable Berny watch, but I still think it is certainly on a sort of a lower end scale of affordable watches. Has got some upgrades. Obviously, it's got a mesh bracelet, whereas my other Berny does not. And of course, now it has a different movement as well as a different dial. Is it worth the extra money, however? Well, let's flip the camera around now and let's check out this watch and see if it actually is worth that little bit extra money. So I was super excited when Berny released this watch. It comes with this outer box here. And I was so excited because I thought, well, there's my Berny watch, but made even better. It comes with quite a nice box with this big pillow, a few bits and pieces like hang tags and instruction manuals. But we're here to see the watch, obviously, and here we go. And I think on paper we actually get quite a lot for our money here. 50 meters of water resistance, sapphire crystal, Miyota movement, a sort of well-known looking dial, nice Milanese strap, see-through case back. That's a lot of watch for 110 Australian dollars. But actually, is it any good in reality? Well, first of all, the looks of it, obviously a homage, but it is a very neat looking homage version. Now I chose to go for the white dial with the silver case and bracelet because, well, that's the one I like best. But there are a few other versions, including full lume dials, black cases, black bracelets. But this is the one that I thought of and that I really sort of looked at and went, yep, that's the one I want. Has a very nice, clean white dial, very shiny. Everything is printed on there, including that minute track that you can see, the large batons at the hour markers, automatic, Berny and the little Berny logo. I quite like that Berny logo. You'll see the hands are a nice, chunky, thick black, which I really like. Very easy to then read. And we've got that lollipop style second hand, which gives you a really nice pop of color. Tiny little date window there at the 3 o'clock, which looks a little bit too small for me, but that's what this one came with, so you can't really complain too much. And overall, it is a really good sort of size as well, because this one here comes in at 40.1 millimeter case diameter. The width of the watch is 11.8 millimeters. Lug to lug, we're looking at 47.5 millimeters. Lug is 22 millimeters, and with this Milanese style mesh bracelet, we're looking at 121.5 grams. Now, I'm not quite sure why they even bothered, but there's only a tiny little bit of lume on here. I did try to capture it with the video and it wasn't that good. So I'm just going to put a picture here. You can see there's just that tiny dot for the second hand that has been lumed. So really a bit of a waste of time really, but hey, that's what they did. So that's what you're going to get. Case here is actually executed really well. And it's probably my favorite feature of this watch is how well the case is actually finished because it's all brushed. You've got the solid bezel there, all brushed on the sides, vertical brushing there. On the back, all brushed stainless steel screw down case back. So it has a really nice sort of texture and look and feel to it. The lugs there do stick out a little bit, gives me a slight vintage look to it there. We've got an unguarded crown, not signed, not screwed down either. So we can manually wind. Obviously has a date window, so it has a quick set position, but it also does hack. This one does contain the Miyota 8215, which does have some inherent issues. You'll see if you actually stare at that second hand enough, you will see a little bit of stuttering. It does keep time perfectly fine, but these movements are sort of known to have this stutter. What is quite interesting though, because of this style of lollipop second hand, it kind of disguises that stutter a little bit, and you just have to really sort of look at it in order then to see that stutter. Bit of a disappointment, but I guess at a sort of affordable price, that's not too bad. But let's see how this Miyota is actually performing. As you can see, this one is vibrating at 21,600 vibrations per hour. Let's just pretend that doesn't exist, because that's a terrible figure. Beat error of 3.6. I want that down to 1 or even below, so that's not ideal, unfortunately. But however, it has got good amplitude and it's actually running really very well, sitting around about 0 seconds or +1 or -1. So performance-wise, it's running well. That one's not ideal though. It is an affordable watch, however, so I do give it a little bit of leeway when it comes to movements. This one here, yeah, that's not ideal, but it is what it is. The strap itself is actually really good. It's probably one of the best mesh bracelets I've tried on. Really nice and thick. You can see how thick it actually is there. The hardware is nice. Berny has a lock sort of over safety catch there. Really nice, easy sort of latch system there. You'll see some sort of little sort of divots into that middle knee, so it's very easy to adjust, very much easy to get a good fit for this one, and it then does sit very nice on wrist as well. And on the back you'll see a customized rotor with the Berny logo, which is actually quite a nice little feature, especially for such an affordable watch. And how does it look on wrist? Well, firstly I can say it's very comfortable. That Milanese is very, very nice, and I think it actually looks really quite good on my wrist. 6.75 inch wrist, or 17 centimeters for your reference. You can see it actually fits down quite nicely, but I'm not sure if you can see what I can see. That lug width looks too big for me for this watch. It's funny because I've got the other Berny watch which has exactly the same case, and that one seems to be fine. I think perhaps being a white dial and having this mesh bracelet makes it stand out to me a little bit more. I don't dislike it, but it is something that will definitely be listed on that change part of the video. So what do I like about this watch? What don't I like about it, and what would I change? Well, firstly, I love the looks of it. Obviously, it's not a particularly original looks, but I still think it looks really good. Secondly, the quality. This case is actually really, really good. It's quite surprising how good the quality is, especially considering the price of the watch. Milanese bracelet is also very, very nicely done and really quite impressive. Nice to be able to see the Miyota movement in there, but as I've mentioned, now going into the dislikes, there's probably a couple of things that probably I don't love about it. That Miyota movement with the stutter, not ideal, not a game changer, but not ideal. The date window for me, it does look too small. It sort of looks like it's just been dotted in there. I'd prefer if it didn't have that. And being a Miyota movement, it does have that Miyota wobble sometimes. It's not too bad for this one, but you'll see it sort of has that rather interesting sort of movement, and you do hear it on occasion. So what would I change about this watch? Well, there's two pretty obvious things. I would get rid of that date window, and I'd reduce that down to 20 millimeters. Yes, having another movement like a Seiko movement would be even better in it, not have that stutter, etc. But realistically, at this sort of price, I can forgive those sorts of issues. But then how does this watch actually compare against my original Berny? Well, I just happen to have my original Berny here. So as you can see, the case, it's exactly the same. The crown is exactly the same. The finishing is exactly the same. The dimensions are exactly the same. If we flip it over, you can see there's some very similarities to the case back as well. A little bit different, but we have some different movements going on. We have a Miyota in the new watch and a seagull movement in the old watch. Obviously the straps are different, obviously the colors are different as well. And do you notice that the 22mm seems to fade away a little bit more on this one? Probably because of the black and the black. Whereas this one, it does tend to stand out just a little bit more. But as you can see on the dials themselves, I much prefer the hands on the new watch. Sort of this was the only sort of issue that I had with the original Berny, is that the sort of the hands are a little bit small. I do prefer, however, the date wheel being down to the 6 on the old Berny. But which do I like better? Well, strangely enough, I expected it to be this one, but for me, the winner is the original Berny. I think perhaps there might be some slight sentimentality to it, but I don't know. I just like the original Berny. However, that is not saying that this one's not a good watch, especially at this price. But let's flip back to me now to give you some of my final thoughts. Now, I have to admit, when I ordered this watch, I thought that this is perfect. It's going to take my Berny watch to the next level. It's going to come with a better strap. It's going to come with a better dial. It's going to come with a better movement. But I have to admit, I probably don't like it as much as my first original Berny watch, the one that uses the same case. It's not that it's a bad watch. I like it. I enjoy it. I've been wearing it. but I don't seem to connect with it as much as the other one. Now, I'm not quite sure why that is. Perhaps it's just because I thought it was amazing at the time and now it has a little bit of a place in my heart. Or perhaps it's because it has the strap on it like this. I don't really know. All I can say is that it's a good watch. It's still certainly affordable. And if you like this sort of railway style watches, well, this is going to be the best affordable way to get into that style of watch. Overall, I still like it. I do enjoy it, but I just haven't connected with it as much as I expected to. Anyway, that's it for me now. Thanks very much for watching. I really do appreciate it, as always, and I do hope to see you in the next video.